And great to welcome to the show today a woman who's written a very interesting, helpful book, I'm sure. It's called Parent Hacks, 134 Genius Shortcuts for Life with Kids. We're joined by Asha Dornfest today. She's the founder of ParentHacks.com and number one most useful blog. We'll find out about that as well. And Asha joined us by telephone. Asha, good to talk with you. How are you?
I am just fine. Great to talk to you, too.
Yeah, good to have a chance to chat with you for a couple of minutes. I was able to read through the book, and I would imagine most of these tips you've experienced firsthand, right?
As a matter of fact, I've experienced a number firsthand as a parent myself, but these tips all come from hundreds of parents across the country who have either sent them to me or shared them with me on social media, on the Parent Hacks Facebook page or via the Parent Hacks hashtag.
This is a blog you also do, right? Is it called Parent Hacks, I guess? That's the name of the blog
ParentHacks.com. That's right. I founded that blog 10 years ago when I was a relatively new parent myself and just completely overwhelmed by the job. And so at the time, this was before social media, so there wasn't really a way to reach out to other parents and say, what's working for you? And let's talk about this. So I started a blog to open up that conversation. And the most amazing thing happened. I mean, hundreds of people responded, and a community was born.
It's amazing when you think of it. Like you said, 10 years ago, how much has changed with not only social media, but even doing a blog yourself. You were probably one of the early people to do that, and it really touched a nerve. So that's a great way for people to I guess, combine knowledge that way.
Well, it was wonderful, and it was such a revelation for me to discover blogs, because at the time, really the only conversation about parenting seemed to come from expert books or magazines. There wasn't really a way to jump in, and this allowed the conversation to open up to parents all over the country, and it was incredibly refreshing to me.
Did you just put out initially a question, send me some tips of things you've had to do to help deal with kids growing up, or what was the initial impetus for it?
Can you believe it really was that easy? I started the blog. I stayed up, all night for for about a week during a holiday break, and I set up this blog, which is a very easy thing to do, and I just put it out there. And the fact that I was asking this question got picked up by a couple of bigger blogs, some press outlets, and then the rest just rolled out from there.
And you deal with different aspects, of course, starting with the initial pregnancy. A lot of interesting tips in there as well. I guess a lot of women, if they haven't had kids before, they don't necessarily know what's coming, right?
I think that's true about all of parenting, isn't it?
That's true.
You just don't know what's coming. And there's really, in some ways, that you can prepare a little bit, but there's no way to really know until you're actually in it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And well, let's talk about some of the tips in the book. Any that kind of that you had not experienced that kind of surprised you? Say, well, that's kind of funny, but it makes sense.
Oh, there's so many. I mean, seriously, the people, parents are geniuses, and people come up with the most creative things. And one of the ones that I really loved, it's so simple, but it would have solved a problem for me, and that was that you can temporarily shorten kids' pants with first aid tape. Now, I personally don't sew. I wish I did, but I don't. And my kid was always tripping over his pants that were too long at the park. And so somebody emailed me and said that first aid tape is really great because it's flexible, it's soft, but it also really sticks. And so it's perfect for hemming pants.
Yeah, I think some of the funnier ones that I guess women will probably get a kick out of, or interesting, well, I didn't know this, that you put cabbage on your feet and that helps the swelling. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, that's a good one. That's sort of a tip that I've heard from birthing attendants and people who are assisting pregnant women. It's sort of like a home remedy that actually has really helped a lot of women during pregnancy.
And not too expensive to buy that in the food store, right?
Right. You might already have it sitting in your refrigerator crisper. Who knows? You might get lucky.
How about some of the when you have a toddler or a little baby? I know you have a lot of tips in there for cleaning up after them. Any interesting ones there you can talk about?
Well, I mean, there are tips that really cover pregnancy all the way through preschool. I think the most popular tips seem to have to do with diaper blowouts, because everybody deals with those for sure. And so one tip for that is to look, believe it or not, in the pet supply section for puppy house training pads. They're these thin, waterproof, disposable pads that you can buy, and they're perfect for lining the car seat and, keeping it relatively clean, at least the worst of it out of there, so that it's easier to deal with should it happen.
Yeah, great idea. And you have a lot, too, as well for, hanging up clothes or using other things to do different, tasks that you wouldn't expect, right? Using department store hangers comes in handy, I know.
Oh, absolutely, right. Those strange two-piece department store hangers for baby clothes. They have sort of a hanger on the top and then these clippy piece on the bottom for the little baby pants. They're very awkward, but they're actually, a parent just emailed me this genius tip, that they're great for winter hats and mittens. You can use those little clips to just store the winter hats and mittens and other little accessories and keep them hung up in the closet so they're easy to find and easy to dry. Even if they're damp, you can use it and hang it up in your shower.
And I know every young parent, or at least the mother anyway, dad hopefully will help out, but having enough items with you in a kit with you, right, to take care of things outside. So you have some tips on that, organizing a case to have everything you need, right?
Well, I have a list in my book that covers unexpected things you might like to keep in your diaper bag, because your diaper bag really is sort of your survival pack.
That's everything.
I talk about painter's tape actually coming in incredibly handy. That blue tape that you use while painting a room is great because it sticks to things and keeps things closed, but you can take it off without it ruining a finish. And so you can use it not only to label just about anything, you can use it to stick over outlets that your kid seems to want to check out in a hotel room. You can use it to temporarily fasten a drawer closed, all sorts of different things.
You have great illustrations too here that go along with what you write about a page on each tip, but the illustrations are very good, very funny too.
I think the illustrations really make the book, and the illustrator is a super talented guy who lives in Chicago, who's a relatively new dad himself. So he just brought such a sensibility and humor to the illustrations. I feel really lucky that he was the guy for the job.
Do you continue to get more tips, perhaps for a second book on your website? People still giving you
As a
ones?
matter of fact, the conversation continues every day. I'm posting new parent hacks every day using the Parent Hacks hashtag on Twitter and Instagram, and also on the Parent Hacks Facebook page. It's an incredibly active and dynamic conversation, so I invite everyone to come and join in. It's just a lot of fun, and people are smart. People are smart and they're generous, and it's a great thing to be a part of.
Never-ending amount of ideas, which is good. to make things a little easier, hopefully.
We're always stumbling onto something new because you just never know what you're going to expect day to day with your kids.
Well, the name of the book is Parent Hacks, 134 Genius Shortcuts for Life with Kids, and we've been talking with Asha Dornfest today. And give out your website again. People can get more information on the book.
Yes, parenthacks.com. Come on down or come find me on Facebook.
Great. Asha, pleasure talking to you. Great idea for a book, and I'm sure you'll have another one coming out with all the new ideas coming in. We'd love to talk to you at that time, but thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or Doug Miles Media.